Fraud is no longer just a risk for auto dealers, it has become part of everyday operations. Experian Automotive's Fraud Protect solution helps you catch income, identity, and trade-in fraud in real time without slowing down the sale. Stop fraud. Keep deals moving. Experian Automotive's Fraud Protect.
Welcome to Daily Drive for Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. I'm Kellen Walker in Las Vegas. Today on the show, Ford wants to supply pickups to the military. Only 1/5 of AI features in cars are actually making money. And after years of tightening standards, subprime lending is on the rise once again. Plus, Steve Greenfield of Automotive Ventures shares his advice for dealers trying to navigate the AI landscape.
The ugly truth is there may be some segment of your employee base that it just isn't going to be able to make this transition.
Let's run through all the news you need to know to keep up in the auto industry. Ford is in talks with defense departments in North America and Europe to supply pickup trucks and software to their militaries. The conversations started last year. There's no contract yet, but Ford says talks are going well. The automaker wants to convert its F-Series pickups, including Super Duty trucks, for military use. It's part of the Pentagon's push to work with more contractors. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll name-checked Ford and GM earlier this year as companies he wants in the defense space. Just 1/5 of AI features in cars are actually making money, and that's a problem for automakers who've gone all in on the tech. According to consulting firm SBD Automotive, the issue comes down to costs. Unlike traditional features with one-time development expenses, AI runs on the cloud, so the meter's running every time someone uses it. Many automakers don't even know how much each feature costs, leading to what SBD calls zombie features, AI tools that eat up resources without delivering value. And auto lenders financed more subprime borrowers during the fourth quarter, and the share is bigger than it's been in years. Subprime and deep subprime customers accounted for more than 15% of all loans and leases in Q4. That's according to Experian Automotive, which says the trend reflects both lenders loosening standards to grow and consumers who need transportation finally coming off the sidelines. Here to talk more about it is our own John Hutter, who covers retail finance and insurance for us at Automotive News. John, welcome back to Daily Drive.
Hey, good to be here.
All right, John. So what's driving lenders to loosen their standards now?
It's kind of hard to say exactly, but we all we know is they are loosening. The industry had kind of tightened up a lot after about 2022 and 2023. We had a lot of people get burned because people's credit looked a lot better than it actually was after the pandemic when everybody had savings. So a lot of lenders tightened up. And now they're coming back. One theory is that it's a little bit easier. Like there's more and more data tools to analyze consumers that have kind of mid-level credit, or like if it's weaker, it might look a little bit better once they start looking at other factors besides traditional credit score things. Like for example, if you're paying your Netflix bills on time, data like that, now you can like build some of that into your credit models. So it's people that maybe looked bad on paper might look like a safer bet today than they used to.
You spoke with dealerships who are seeing more subprime customers. Now, John, what did they see?
It was interesting. The one dealer mentioned that it's subprime consumers just coming back because their vehicle is just breaking down, or it's got issues, they've got to replace it. So it's kind of it sounds like a necessity play. Another one was just consumers wanting to downsize because they're having economic problems is also bringing them back, like you're trading in. And then finally, the one issue is just because subprime consumers maybe would have paid cash in the past because because of the credit, the loan's more expensive. Now vehicles are more expensive, and so they have no choice but to take out a loan for part of it, what they used to be able to just buy outright in cash. So that's kind of what we're hearing from dealers on the ground so far.
Perfect. John, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Coming up, advice for dealers navigating the AI landscape. That's next on Daily Drive.
Fraud is no longer just a risk for auto dealers, it has become part of everyday operations. According to Experian Automotive, nearly 9 out of 10 dealers say fraud is a top concern, and 70% say it's on the rise. We're talking about real deals slipping through, costing dealerships $10,000, even $20,000 per incident. And it's not just one type of fraud. You've got forged income documents, fabricated salaries, synthetic identities, even trade-in scams. The worst part? Catching fraud often slows everything down, adding friction to deals and frustrating legitimate customers. That's where Experian Automotive's Fraud Protect solution comes in. It's designed specifically for dealers, helping you quickly detect income, identity, and trade-in ownership before it hits your bottom line. No guesswork, no unnecessary delays, just faster, more consistent verification so you can protect your profits while keeping the buying experience smooth. Because the goal isn't just to stop fraud, it's to keep good deals moving. Experian Automotive's Fraud Protect. No more. Risk less. Sell smarter.
Welcome back to Daily Drive. I'm Kellen Walker. Dealers are being pitched a lot of AI solutions right now, but it's not always clear which one delivers real return on investment. Steve Greenfield is general partner of Automotive Ventures. He spoke with our own Dan Shine about the do's and don'ts for dealers looking for AI vendors and what metrics they should focus on.
Steve, we're here at the AI Industry Summit before SodaCon begins. Speakers today, all sorts of AI discussions. We've obviously progressed from the chatbots to conversational AI to inquiries about new and used vehicles. And I wonder what you think, how AI is progressing in automotive retail. How are dealers handling this so far?
Yeah, I think that's still early innings. I think dealers are having a hard time kind of metabolizing it right now and trying to figure out. Vendors are pitching me a lot of things. I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. I think if anything, it's probably been underwhelming so far in terms of the actual ROI, the value on what they're spending. But I think we are just scratching the surface. I mean, you and I just sat through a lot of presentations here. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. But if I'm a dealer sitting in the audience, I'm overwhelmed at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start. I've got a bunch of legacy systems, DMS, CRM, et cetera. And now I've got a wave of new AI first kind of like technologies that are coming at me. And it's hard for me to kind of process how are these all going to fit together? Where am I going to get ROI? Where to spend that incremental dollar of SaaS? And maybe most importantly, I only have so much budget every month for software. Am I going to start making some concessions and trade-offs? Like if I'm going to spend more on AI solutions that are trying to sell to me, where am I going to make trade-offs and start to reducing my budget elsewhere? And that I think as a dealer isn't right clear to me yet.
Right. I think it's very overwhelming. The acronyms we heard today, Snowflake and all these other, all the other words. I'm sure that, I think dealers would be shutting down and say, I'm not going to do any of it. I'm making money.
Right.
Why do I need any more of this nonsense?
Yeah. I mean, my observation, I've been in the industry 25 years, is dealers live in this very dysfunctional 30-day cycle. A lot of it's driven by the OEMs, right? I got to hit my targets, and I try to hit my targets by the end of the month, and then we have a reset, and the next month I'm back in that cycle again. And that's why dealers, I mean this with the most flattery, they're myopic around hitting those metrics every month. Mm-hmm. And if a vendor can come in and help me hit those metrics, great. I mean, I don't want to hear about what life's going to be like 5 years from now. I got metrics to hit this month. And I think right now, that's where the reconciliation, I think, is having a hard time. Is like a lot of these vendors are talking about this future. You know, we just got off stage and they were talking about like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, how disruptive is this going to be and what does life look like for a dealer? Well, dealers don't have the ability, right? They don't have the ability to look like 5 years ahead for the most part because they're trying to hit this quarter, this month, these cycles. And I think this is where we need to see the reconciliation. If I'm going to spend an incremental dollar on some AI-powered software tool, it's got to help me drive metrics in the short term.
Yeah. So if I'm a dealer, if I'm got Dan Shine Honda or wherever, I come to you, Steve, help me figure this all out. What are the first steps you say to me to kind of start to figure out this AI landscape and how it might help benefit my dealership?
Yeah, AI or not AI, I think dealers have to say, what metrics am I trying to move right now? Am I trying to like capture more per RO, get more ROs, try to capture more vehicles in operation, sell an incremental car, be it new or used, attach more gross profit to each of those units, whatever it might be. Start there and say, like, which metrics are there opportunities to drive? And then start working backwards into, like, are there solutions out there that can help me? And, very stereotypically, they talk about people, process, and then technologies. You got to know which metric you want to drive, make sure you got the right people in place, make sure you got the right processes, and then you can layer technology in over top. I don't think that AI is suddenly going to be a panacea and say, like, oh, we can just drop AI and magically things are going to move. A lot of these vendors seem to be professing that. But at the end of the day, I think start with the metric in mind that you want to drive. Make sure you got good people that can absorb, these changes, right? The right people that can be trained up in these ways of working, and then figure out what technologies can complement all of that. Otherwise, I think you're almost doomed for failure.
Yeah. What's the worst thing a dealer could do right now in this growing age of AI?
Well, walk into this new world uneducated. I think by going to conferences like this is great because you sit there, you can absorb, you can start to discern between which of these things can I believe, how ready am I, and then prepare for sort of AI. But I think everyone needs to have a basic knowledge of what is this thing, right? Play around with tools like ChatGPT or Anthropic in your day-to-day, maybe even outside of work, to understand what we're dealing with. Yeah. Because otherwise, it is sort of a moonshot. If you suddenly just say, hey, I need an AI solution that's going to help me drive more profit, and you go buy an AI solution, you're almost doomed for failure.
The theme of the SotoCon is the year of the human. And we've heard a lot of folks up on the stage today saying AI is not going to replace jobs. It's just going to help people do, get rid of the stuff that they don't have to do and make them focus on more important tasks. Do you buy it?
I do, with a caveat. I think that what we're seeing in other industries, and we're even in the news this morning, is that there are layoffs. But one of the automakers this morning said that they were going to fire a bunch of people, but then replace them with the same amount of people up in Detroit, but more AI natives. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is the challenge right now, is like an automaker or a dealer has to think about, like, are my people ready? Right? I have a hypothesis that AI is going to change things dramatically. It's going to make every one of my humans, my employees, much more productive. Mm-hmm. But there are going to be some employees that aren't going to be able to cross that bridge. I think this is going to be the challenge, right? The HR teams are going to have a hard time looking at my current employee population and saying, how many of these are going to make this transition? How many aren't? And what am I going to do to try to help them navigate towards the future? So I think a lot of that has to happen over the next 6 months to 18 months for dealers overall, to say, like, what does the future look like? How dependent are we going to become on AI to drive productivity and customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction? But there may be, the ugly truth is, there may be some segment of your employee base that it just isn't going to be able to make this transition.
Yeah. Steve, I always appreciate the insights.
Good to see you, Dan.
Thanks.
Steve Greenfield of Automotive Ventures spoke with our own Dan Shine. That's Daily Drive for today. I'm Kellen Walker. Thanks to Automotive News executive producer Jake Neer, as well as our own John Hutter for his reporting for today's podcast. We also had reporting from Lois Jones of our sibling publication, Automotive News Europe. You can get the latest news on AI and automotive retail, subprime lending, and everything happening in the auto industry at autonews.com. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you think of the show and the topics we covered today. Send us an email at dailydrive@autonews.com or leave us a voicemail at 313-444-2774. And if you enjoy the podcast, remember to like, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.